Good morning. I did have an epiphany or a thought, or I don't know, I think too much sometimes. And I was thinking about, you know, when we're handed a situation which could mean the end of our lives, like literally, a death sentence, it could be, not necessarily 100%, right? So, okay, I look at, excuse me, my death sentence, which was basically, being handed a leukemia diagnosis. And, we all know my story, but basically when I first heard that, I didn't think of survival. I really didn't. I prepared for death. That's what I prepared for. Was, when you hear that word, I think we get really scared, and it's a scary thought. And we think, okay, I'm just going to die, and that's what I'm going to prepare myself for. And right. So that was my first thought. And I have a friend who got COVID really bad. And in his mind too, like getting COVID bad was associated with poor health. Like if, getting COVID, but having to be on a ventilator, all those things he associated with that. And so we have, which he felt was close to, he felt that way. Like it was a death sentence to him almost. And to me, mine was. And I look at like the difference, like after that, he changed his life. He's just, started a more healthy lifestyle, and, made changes in his life to do that, because he thought, you know what, I was given a second chance, and I'm going to take advantage of that second chance, and I'm going to, do better, because I want to live, or whatever the case may be. And he's living a better life for it. And, regardless, not everything's always positive just because we make positive changes, but, overall it's a better, cleaner, healthier lifestyle. So like when I look at myself, it's funny because I was handed that death sentence. And I think the difference is the recovery piece, but there's also a point where, like I didn't handle it the same way. I felt like I was living my life good. I was living appropriately. I was doing the right things. I was being a good person. I was, fairly healthy. I wasn't perfect, but I was fairly healthy. And so I looked at it differently. As far as when that handed to me, I was like, what the hell? What did I do wrong? And I'm a big karma believer, so it affected me, which was, something we've talked about. But, kind of my point is sometimes I almost feel like when we overcome a big disease like that, these days and times, yes, we've, the human race has become very intelligent. I mean, we've always been intelligent, but we've used those in the thoughts and the brain that we have to, skirt death, skirt diseases, get cures. But I think we have to remember at what cost. Like, what does that cost us? And I'm not an organized religious person. I do believe in a higher power. I believe in higher spirits. I believe that we all have someone guiding us, helping us through life. I do believe that. But I almost wonder sometimes, this is really bad, but sometimes I think that it's a price you pay. You pay a price when you say, yes, I'm going to do that cure. I'm going to get, for me, I want to get the transplant. I'm going to do all the things I need to do to live. And at what price does that come? What do you lose when you do that? And is there now a devil on your back? Do you owe the universe something because they gave you life back? Do you, are you doing a repay for karma constantly? Because, back in the old days when we, a disease like that was, you were done. That was it. Like, and yeah, I believe that there's always reasons why, but I almost sometimes get the feeling like we're playing with fire when we cure everything. because it does come at a price, and I don't think people realize it. I mean, a lot of people will look at me and say, well, look at you, you know, you're living your, yeah, true, I am, but I paid a price for that. I paid a hefty price. And at what point is that price worth it? And at what point should we not pay it? And at what point is it okay to say, this is a disease that affected my body? And, you know, we can look at it all different ways. Like, okay, well, I was supposed to go through this. Maybe I needed to appreciate the life I had. Maybe I wasn't, I don't know. We could look at it all different ways, but really the thought today is, at what price? When you have a disease that if you don't do something about it, you're going to die. You know, heart disease does not necessarily mean you're going to die. Like, you could have it and survive for a very long time without doing anything about it. Believe it or not, it's true. Like, I know that there's certain things that but there's certain things you could have and still live. Maybe just by changing, you know, maybe some of your eating habits and this and that and the other thing. But there's some things that, like, that disease was a fluke. It was not genetic. It was not environmental. It was a fluke of nature for that to happen to me. And when I look at that fluke, it was like, to me, that means that Spirit, God, whoever you believe in, is pinpointing you. Saying, you know what? Nope. You've lived a healthy life. You've stayed away environmentally from all this stuff. You know, you don't have it in your genes, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Just because I think you need something to learn something or whatever it is. But it almost sometimes feels like, are those type of diseases that we cure, are they worth the price? You know, and we can go in a lot of what I've been through and where I'm at, and I'm healed physically overall, but emotionally keeps my body from becoming stronger. You know, so I'm living the price, and sometimes I look at it and say, okay, that's okay. Like, you know, I have my life back, but there's a lot of things I live with, and, you know, I'm not going to go into detail, that I can't get rid of because of what I went through. And, they're not always easy things. Like, you know, I am also very susceptible to getting any kind of cancer again. So to cure this, I have now set my chances of getting any other kind of cancer up higher. So I had, you know, all over body radiation. I had radiation freaking stuck in my spinal fluid to go up to my brain. I had the chemo from hell, and any chemo like that, that takes away our skin, that was partially GVHD, but that literally, like, 2 doses, literally, I mean, I can't tell you how strong this shit is. Well, it has to be, because it has to kill your entire blood system. You're killing everything, right? But basically, that comes with a price. Everything comes with a price, and people need to realize that. Like, when you're going through diagnosis, if you're going to get that kind of chemo, or you're going to, you know, do this, remember, there's going to be a price to pay going forward, because nothing comes for free. And I'm not talking monetary. I'm talking, you know, just things in general. And, you know, I'm happy to be alive. Don't get me wrong. I am, but I am paying a price for it too. It's getting less and less as time goes on. So maybe, like, you know, 10 years from now, and I can say, well, look at me, you know, I'm healthy. Or maybe 10 years from now, I end up with all over body cancer. I don't know. Like, I've set myself up to have to worry about my thyroid and my eyes and any kind of cancer. Like, I'm like at high risk now. So by curing the one cancer, I have now elevated myself to a higher risk at anything else. And to me, that sucks, because now I have the worry where I never had to worry before, because there really wasn't cancer in my family. And there was, but I think my dad's was environmental, because his body was riddled with it, and we didn't have any other cancer any other, you know, in any of our families, really very, very minimal amount, like skin cancer or something that, you know, was because we didn't wear sunscreen or whatever. But, yeah, I just think there's a lot to be said for, you know, getting your life saved, and at what degree, you know, like I said, you can have a life scare and you didn't have to like have these miracle drugs to survive. Like, yeah, you needed hospital care, you needed a ventilator, you needed whatever medicine there was, but it wasn't like these medicines that literally kill your body to kill one thing. So it sets you up to get something else. I'm not saying I'm going to get cancer. I may not, I may live till I'm 100. I don't know. But sometimes I think about like, how many prices do you pay for being allowed to live? It almost feels like that sometimes. Like, here, I gave you the chance to, and I've had people tell me that, like, you know, you should be grateful because you're alive. Well, excuse me. I am a grateful person overall, but is that a price I have to pay? Do I have to pay a price? And where does it go? So, anyway, that was my big conversation in my head this morning. Don't ask me why, but it came in and my mind just starts thinking about it. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like gonna off myself or anything, but, and I'm having bouts of depression still, but they're not like they were for a while there. They were really bad. Yeah, you know, it's something to think about. Like when you go in and you get diagnosed with something, you know, the one thing that I was not given was a choice. I was told the only cure was a transplant, but come to find out after my transplant, there are other choices. No, there's no other cure, but you can get through the disease with other choices. So I just find that kind of odd too. But anyway, I better go because this is kind of long-winded. So have a beautiful day and, be you. So take care.